Hi, I'm Rachel McMillan, the instructor for CG 130, Today's Careers with an emphasis on green careers. And I'm visiting PSU today to talk with Noelle Studer-Spevak. She's the Sustainability Manager for Portland State University. Hi, Noelle.
Hi.
And I think we're going to have Noelle share a little bit about some of the projects that she's been working on here.
The biggest project that our office is working on right now is carbon dioxide emissions. PSU signed the American College and University President's Climate Commitment, so we're going to try to get to carbon neutrality at some point out in the future. So we're putting our plans together. First step is figuring out where our emissions come from. This is what it looks like right now. The biggest chunk is electricity at 42%. So we're right now actively trying to reduce our electricity consumption. We've got an AmeriCorps member who is helping people with tips on how to reduce their energy, and this is a lump of coal. 39% of our energy comes from coal. And so we're out there educating people that it's not as clean as we might think here in the Northwest.
And how might PCC's climate pie differ from PSU's?
PSU is very fortunate to be in an area with lots of transit, and many bikers ride to campus. So PCC's pie has almost half is commuting, where we're only 17% here at PSU.
So very different challenges.
Very different challenges, yes.
What else did you have to show us here? I see you have some information from different local conferences.
I just received these in the mail recently. A great way, as I mentioned, to learn about sustainability and get engaged and find out the latest of what's happening in the field is to attend conferences. As a student, you're often able to find ways to get reduced registration or free registration by contacting event organizers early and volunteering to help out. So by attending Green Build, for example, the main green building conference, you get to know about who's who are the main leaders. Looks like Al Gore is speaking at this one, and attend all these many breakout sessions to learn about anything your heart desires around green building. Food issues are very big, food security in the area. So I attended a conference last spring the Community Food Security Coalition put on, so now they're sending me things about their upcoming events. So just keep an eye out for what conferences are coming to Portland and see if you can get in on those and helping out.
So a lot of great benefits to the students. They're volunteering, so they have something specific they can put on their resume. They're also going to be learning new information about a subject that hopefully they're feeling very passionate and interested about. But they're going to be in contact with a lot of professionals, a lot of local professionals in the field, so a great networking
Excellent networking opportunity. Working in sustainability has really been a lifelong passion of mine, even though it wasn't called sustainability back in the 90s when I helped get a recycling program started at my high school. When I was in college, I studied plant biology and environmental science, and I was also involved I was the student representative in the President's Advisory Council around energy conservation. So, and from there I was in the Peace Corps, where I helped farmers take care of the earth better, care for their soil, build plant windbreaks, and did agroforestry and composting work. And then at the University of Washington, I studied urban forestry, and I wanted to learn more about systems in large organizations and how they work. So I got a second master's degree in public administration. And also at the University of Washington, I was the student rep on the Building Advisory Council for a new green building that was going up, UW's first green building. So all those experiences, I learned a little bit about all these different areas that are within sustainability, from recycling and waste reduction, composting, earth care, stewardship, to green building.
And what was your undergraduate degree in?
I studied plant biology and environmental science.
Okay. And so you use that technical knowledge, but now your position requires more management leadership skills.
Yes, exactly. I like to think of it as I started my education learning systems thinking through biology and ecological systems. I had a very strong education there. And then I moved into more human systems and how organizations work.
And how would you describe the work that you do here? Maybe what a typical day is like and some of your common tasks?
I'd say there is no typical day as a sustainability coordinator at a university. I can receive calls from anyone out in the community, vendors, concerned citizens in the area, or within the university, from students, professors, administrators, just people in various departments that want to make change on campus. I'm the main person when it comes to operational sustainability. Not that I'm responsible for turning this into a green campus, but I often know where people can go to take their next steps. So I'm responsible for collecting information about our green performance on campus and then sharing that with the community on websites and developing reports. My favorite part about this job is helping others get engaged in sustainability work so that they come to work more excited and feeling like they can make a difference, and helping students develop their leadership potential around sustainability. If I could change anything, I wouldn't have to deal with invoices and paperwork and just paperwork and forms in general. It would just disappear.
And if you could give advice to somebody who wanted to work in this field someday, what would you tell them?
For someone interested in working in this field, since it's so driven by passion and personal commitment, I think the key thing is really knowing what you personally are extremely interested in and what you love. Once you identify that, look for what the pressing needs are in your community, or maybe in your organization or in your neighborhood, and then look for anyone else who's already working on those things and go join them. And if no one's working on them in your organization or your neighborhood, see if there's some way that you can connect with others outside and bring some kind of something in. See if you can copy something from somewhere else that's working well, and try to lead that. Get together with a few people and try to lead a little bit of change in your area. This is extremely experience driven, and you might find that once you get the bug, you might be so excited. But I think the key to success is to think big and start small, build on small successes. There really is no substitute for experience in this area, and if you've just taken classes, that's insufficient. I only hire people who have demonstrated that they've done something above and beyond coursework, or taken some initiative, worked on some interesting projects. It's absolutely necessary to identify where your passions lie, but then it's the experiences where you practice your skills, you hone your skills, you learn really good written and verbal communication and systems thinking, and identifying who your allies are and how you can work collaboratively with others. And so that's what employers are looking for, that you have demonstrated that you have these skills. To get a job in this field, it's really about who you know, and people have to be familiar with the work that you've done and getting personal references from others. You could find out about jobs just from looking online, but you're more likely to be able to get a job if personal references and relationships. That's how Portland works. It may be possible in other parts of the country to just apply cold. Since experience is so essential to finding a job, it's the only way to get that really is to volunteer. Find an organization doing what you're interested in and see if you can volunteer with them. Maybe find a mentor, someone who can give you things to do, put you to work so you can start honing your skills. Northwest Service Academy, the AmeriCorps program that they have is really excellent. There are about 60 agencies in the area that hire AmeriCorps members through Northwest Service Academy. Network by attending meetings of different organizations in the area. Green Drinks is also a great way to meet up with other people in looking to get into environmental jobs. There's a fairly new organization called the International Society of Sustainability Professionals, founded right here in Portland, Oregon by Marcia Willard and Darcy Hitchcock. They also have a Sustainable Northwest newsletter you can get on their listserv. ASHE is the organization that we belong to here at PSU. That's the Association for the Advancement of Sustainability in Higher Education. It's aashe.org. Also, Cascadia Green Building Council, if you're interested in green building, they have regular meetings and enrichment opportunities. And also Oregon Natural Step Network. I'd say that one of the biggest opportunities emerging in this career field is around climate change. We'll see carbon markets emerging fairly soon. We'll have cap and trade at some point. We don't know how soon, but all organizations will be interested in finding out what their carbon footprint is, how to reduce their carbon footprint, and so they'll need people on board with the specific skills to be able to do that. In addition, I'd recommend looking at the City of Portland and Multnomah County's Climate Action Plan to get an idea of where this region wants to go, and you can get an idea about what kinds of work might be needed to get there. For example, there are goals around local food production. Well, if you're interested in food, you could get into areas that help increase food production in the area, whether that's educating people in organic gardening practices, or if you want to go on to a more advanced degree, you could work in economics and help build the capacity of the region.
So do you have any last pieces of advice for students looking at green careers?
Mm-hmm. I would advise students that there aren't very many jobs available if you just want to be a generalist in sustainability. There are very few jobs. You really need to partner that with some solid skills. Maybe it's engineering, economics, marketing, communication, something else that's already a solid field, and then you can add a sustainability layer to that, and that will make you more marketable. And you'll be able to hopefully work in your field. I also wanted to mention, if students are interested in more information about what's going on at PSU, last year the PSU EcoWiki was created by students, and that was facilitated by this office. And so this is our local sustainability action hub. Before this existed, we really didn't have any good location to find out what's going on, who's doing what events are coming up, etc. So this is a great resource. And last, I wanted to mention this wonderful project that students worked on. We have a lot of waste on campus with bottled water, and students didn't want to see so much bottled water coming to campus, so they surveyed 500 students to find out what the barriers were to people bringing their own water bottles. This is a project of the Environmental Club, and they found that students didn't know where they could get good, clean water. So students wrote a grant proposal, and they were able to buy clean canteens, sell the clean canteens to raise money to install a water bottle filling station. And this has been a success, and now Facilities and Planning is doing that around campus. So it's just an example of how students passionate about something can organize, overcome lots of institutional barriers, and change the way things happen in a large organization.
And it sounds like, again, they're getting specific job-related transferable skills that they can bring to a potential employer, and even though it was something volunteer, they have some very specific skills now under their belt.
Exactly.
Great. Well, Noelle, thank you so much for your time today and for sharing information with us. It's exciting to hear about what's happening at PSU here, and thank you.
Thank you so much.